Seriously, some of the best experiences in gaming right now aren't coming from big studios, but from passionate indie devs pushing the limits. So, I've picked 10 of the absolute best indie games you need to play in 2025. Let's dive in. Songs of Conquest blends old-school charm with modern strategy in a way that hits just right. It opens in a war-torn world where 6 factions fight for control over ancient lands once ruled by powerful empires. Each campaign drops you into a different corner of the conflict, with political intrigue, revenge, rebellion, and dark magic shaping the story depending on the side you choose. It feels like a spiritual successor to Heroes of Might and Magic, but with smoother gameplay, gorgeous pixel art, and more refined mechanics. You explore maps filled with treasures, hidden paths, and enemy camps while managing resources like gold, stone, and glimmerweave to expand your cities and recruit units. Towns have limited building slots, so every construction choice matters. You can go for stronger troops early, invest in economy, or build for long-term magical dominance, and each path has pros and cons. You command armies led by wielders, which are powerful heroes with customizable skill trees, and leveling up gives access to unique abilities that shape your strategy, from empowering certain units to unlocking battlefield spells to improving travel and scouting. Some wielders lean into brute force, others focus on magic support or tactical manipulation. So combining your hero build with your army composition leads to huge variety in playstyles. Combat is turn-based but far from static. Elevation, flanking, initiative, and terrain all influence the flow of battle. Spellcasting is tied to Essence, a system where different units generate magical energy based on their type, forcing you to think ahead and build synergies. Outside of combat, there's plenty to do. Fog of War hides secrets, neutral armies guard valuable locations, and side objectives keep exploration rewarding. Each faction feels distinct, with unique units, aesthetics, and lore. From the noble Arleon to the swampy Rana, every campaign has its own vibe and mechanics to learn. The writing is solid across the board, and the soundtrack adds emotional weight, mixing epic fantasy with nostalgic tones that stick with you. It's also surprisingly replayable, thanks to skirmish maps, online multiplayer, and a powerful map editor that lets the community keep the game alive with fresh content. If you've got that itch for deep, satisfying turn-based strategy with a strong fantasy vibe, Songs of Conquest absolutely delivers. Blasphemous 2 takes everything that made the first game stand out and pushes it even further. The game picks up after the events of the first game, but you don't need to play the original to enjoy it. The opening gives you just enough context to understand the world and your role in it. You're the penitent one, brought back to life in a twisted land cursed by divine punishment. From there, it's a brutal pilgrimage filled with grotesque imagery, cryptic lore, and some of the most striking pixel art you'll see in any game. The art is still disturbingly beautiful. The world is still soaked in religious symbolism and macabre detail. But now the gameplay feels way tighter. Movement is faster, the controls are more responsive, and the new weapons give you more ways to approach every fight. You're no longer just swinging one sword the whole game. Now you've got 3 unique weapons: a heavy flail, a massive sword, and twin blades that favor fast, agile combat. Each one has its own upgrade tree, so you can unlock new moves, passive boosts, and even traversal abilities that open up hidden paths. There's also a skill system tied to prayers and statues that lets you customize your build with special abilities and passive buffs. Whether you want stronger parries, elemental attacks, or faster movement, the game gives you room to experiment. Every boss feels handcrafted to test both your reflexes and your patience, with brutal patterns and punishing attacks. But beating them is incredibly satisfying, especially when you've earned every inch of progress through skill and persistence. The platforming also got a serious upgrade, with tighter jumps and more vertical areas that encourage exploration. And while the story keeps that cryptic, unsettling tone, it feels more personal this time, diving deeper into themes of guilt, sacrifice, and twisted faith. If you're into dark, atmospheric action games that reward mastery and aren't afraid to make you suffer a bit, Blasphemous 2 is a must-play in 2025. Tunic looks cute on the surface, but don't let the charming visuals fool you. This game is tough, clever, and full of secrets. At first, it feels like a simple action adventure with nods to classic Zelda, but the deeper you go, the more you realize Tunic is hiding something much bigger. The entire game is built around mystery. There's a made-up language you slowly learn to decipher, a manual you piece together like a puzzle, and mechanics that are never fully explained, encouraging real exploration and discovery. Combat can be brutal, especially early on, but once you get the hang of it, the flow becomes super satisfying. Timing your dodges, managing stamina, and learning enemy patterns turns every fight into a dance. And over time, you unlock new tools like a magic fire rod or a shield that completely change your approach to different enemies. There's also a light RPG layer with upgrades to your health, attack, and magic that you unlock through exploration and hidden items. You'll find stat-boosting offerings that must be placed at shrines, creating a satisfying rhythm between combat, exploration, and progression. On top of that, you unlock ability cards, which are passive perks you can equip to tweak your playstyle, like making dodges faster, boosting stamina regen, or even adding special effects to your attacks. Every upgrade feels meaningful, not just because it makes you stronger, but because you earned it by solving a puzzle, surviving a tough area, or noticing a hidden path. New abilities open up fresh paths, creating that perfect loop of, now I can go back there and do that thing I couldn't before. But the most impressive thing is how the game teaches you without ever saying a word, just by letting you observe, experiment, and slowly connect the dots. Even the pause menu hides secrets, and the map itself becomes part of the puzzle if you're looking closely. And the mix of chill exploration and intense fights keeps the pace interesting from start to finish. Palworld looks like a joke at first, with bright colors, cute creatures, and a world that feels like a knockoff Pokémon. But once you dive in, things get dark. Really dark. This is a game where you don't just catch monsters, you put them to work in factories, hand them rifles, and send them into battle like disposable assets. It's wild, chaotic, and completely unhinged in the best way possible. Underneath all the memes and madness, there's an actual survival sandbox with crafting, base building, and resource management, so you're not just a trainer, you're running an operation. Crafting goes way beyond the basics. You're building weapons, tools, automated systems, and entire production lines, all powered by your pals. Want to mass-produce rifles or set up a PAL-powered power grid? You can. And each PAL has different work traits, so part of the strategy is assigning the right ones to the right jobs. Combat feels like a bizarre mix of third-person shooter and monster battler. You fight alongside your pals in real time, and they're not just meat shields, they have skills, elemental affinities, and attack styles that can completely change how a fight plays out. Some specialize in range, others charge in close, and many of them can be upgraded and trained to become significantly stronger. You also level up your own gear and customize your loadout to match whatever chaos you're about to face. The management layer adds even more depth. Balancing food, shelter, and morale keeps your pals working efficiently, and ignoring their needs can lead to burnout. And if you want to go full tyrant or build a peaceful haven, that's up to you. The game doesn't judge, it just reacts. Palworld leans hard into satire but still delivers a surprisingly deep gameplay loop. It's weird, bold, and definitely not for everyone, but if you're tired of playing it safe and want something totally off the rails, Palworld is the kind of game you need to experience at least once. Factorio is one of those games that look simple on the surface, but the deeper you go, the more obsessed you get. It starts with a crash landing on an alien planet and a single goal: build a factory and launch a rocket back into space. Sounds easy, right? But before you know it, you're designing massive conveyor systems, optimizing production lines, and setting up defenses to keep out swarms of alien creatures that don't like all your pollution. What makes Factorio so addictive is how it constantly feeds your brain. Every upgrade, every tiny improvement in your layout feels like solving a puzzle, and it's pure flow state. You can easily sink 10 hours tweaking one section of your base and still come out with ideas to improve it. Combat plays a bigger role than most people expect. At first, it's just a few bugs rushing your walls, but as your factory grows, so does the threat. You'll have to research better weapons, craft turrets, mines, flamethrowers, and even automated drone systems to hold the line. And the aliens don't wait. They adapt to your pollution levels, forcing you to constantly upgrade your defenses and balance progress with survival. Crafting and upgrades go way beyond just building machines. You'll unlock entire tech trees that let you automate almost everything, from resource gathering to robot-managed logistics. You can develop powerful trains, build modular armor suits with shields and personal lasers, and even set up nuclear power to push your factory into overdrive. And once you perfect a section of your factory, you can save it as a blueprint and instantly copy that design anywhere else. But the whole thing runs in real time, so while you're expanding your empire, the planet is reacting to you. If you enjoy games where you create, optimize, and outsmart both the environment and yourself, Factorio is one of the best in the genre. If you're having fun so far, drop a like and let me know in the comments what you'd love to see in the next episode of this series. Your comments give the algorithm a reason to keep this channel breathing, and yes, I really do check and reply to every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, come on, don't let your buddy Sage wander the YouTube wilderness alone. Hit that sub button and stick around. We're dropping new videos every single day, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Next up is Death's Door, and it's easily one of the most polished indie action games out there. It blends tight combat, clever puzzles, and a world that just pulls you in from the first minute. You play as a little crow working as a reaper, and yeah, it sounds weird, but the game takes that concept and builds something surprisingly deep and emotional around it. The world design is clean and interconnected, kind of like a mini Metroidvania, with secrets hidden in every corner. The combat feels sharp and responsive, with a mix of melee and ranged attacks that you can chain together in smooth, satisfying ways. And the bosses are tough but fair, with each fight teaching you something new. There's also a nice variety of weapons, each with its own moveset and rhythm, which adds a layer of strategy depending on your playstyle. You can go for fast hits, heavier damage, or something more balanced. As you explore, you'll find hidden shrines that expand your health and magic, and each spell you unlock isn't just for combat. It's also a tool for traversal and puzzle solving. You can upgrade core stats by collecting souls and spending them in a hub area, fine-tuning things like strength, dexterity, haste, and magic. But one of the coolest mechanics is how Death's Door handles death itself. Instead of punishing you harshly for dying, it drops you back at the last door you entered, which acts as a checkpoint. It keeps the pace smooth and encourages experimentation without turning every mistake into a huge setback, so it's got that perfect balance of challenge and flow that keeps you locked in. Besiege is pure creative chaos in the best way possible. It drops you into a medieval sandbox and lets you build wild machines to complete missions that range from knocking over towers to surviving waves of enemies. But this isn't some lazy physics game. It gives you full control over how things move, turn, explode, or collapse, and every hinge, piston, and spinning blade feels like it matters. The building system is deep but intuitive. You can construct anything from simple battering rams to fully functional helicopters, walking mechs, or even logic-powered contraptions that act on their own. Thanks to the realistic physics, every part of your machine reacts naturally to weight, force, and momentum. So even the smallest adjustment can completely change how your design performs. Each level throws a new type of problem at you. Sometimes you'll be tasked with destroying a fortress. Other times you'll have to carefully transport something without breaking it. And there's no one right solution. So it's all about experimenting, failing hard, tweaking your machine, and trying again. On top of that, Besiege offers a solid set of engineering tools for players who want to go all in. You can add timers, sensors, logic gates, and even mechanical scripts to automate parts of your creation. It's like Lego meets robotics, but with explosions. And if you want to take the chaos online, the multiplayer mode lets you build and battle with friends in shared arenas. You can team up to solve challenges or just try to wreck each other's machines in the most ridiculous ways possible. Chained Echoes looks like it came straight out of the golden era of 16-bit JRPGs. But don't let the retro style fool you. This game goes way beyond nostalgia. It throws you into a massive world with sky pirates, mechs, ancient magic, and political backstabbing all mashed together in one crazy ride. The story kicks off with a war between kingdoms, but quickly spirals into something much bigger, with ancient weapons and buried secrets that tie everything together. The combat blends classic turn-based strategy with a momentum system that forces you to stay sharp and mix up your tactics. And managing your overdrive bar is the key to surviving tougher fights. You've got tons of flexibility when building your team, as characters don't lock into fixed roles. Each character has their own skill grid, and you're free to shape their build by focusing on offense, defense, buffs, debuffs, or support. Some fights might call for heavy magic resistance, while others punish you hard if you don't bring someone with status cleanses or multi-target attacks. The game encourages you to switch things up constantly instead of sticking to a one-size-fits-all strategy. There's also a class emblem system that adds another layer to team building. By unlocking and equipping emblems, you can give characters unique stat boosts and extra skills that open up completely new strategies. There's no grinding for experience either, because leveling is tied to key story moments and optional challenges. So you're always focused on the journey, not farming. On top of that, the game's crafting system lets you improve weapons and armor by combining materials and socketing crystals that add new effects. It's simple to use, but deep enough to make a real difference in battle. And when you think you've seen everything, the game lets you fly around in a mech suit and completely changes how exploration works. It's packed with side quests that actually matter, a story that doesn't pull punches, and everything feels handcrafted, from the pixel art to the killer soundtrack. Chained Echoes isn't trying to copy the past. It's showing how much better old-school RPGs can be when they're built with this much care and ambition. Okay, Lies of P isn't technically an indie game. It's a AA title from a mid-sized studio, but it still felt right to give it a spot on this list. It's a game that takes the soul of Bloodborne and gives it a unique identity through a twisted version of the Pinocchio tale. Everything about it feels handcrafted, from the intricate level design to the weighty, precise combat that punishes impatience and rewards skill. But what really caught me off guard was how deeply the story explores themes like identity, truth, and the cost of becoming human. You're not just fighting monsters, you're unraveling a world where lies are currency, and every choice matters. The atmosphere hits hard too, with dark, elegant streets bathed in moonlight, mechanical puppets twisted by madness, and haunting music that lingers even after you quit. But the real star here is the combat system. It's aggressive, fast, and unforgiving. You can't just button mash your way through, you've got to commit to your moves and time your dodges. The parry is tight and rewarding, turning every encounter into a test of reflex and patience. Also, the P organ lets you unlock passive perks and combat buffs, letting you shape your build around defense, aggression, or utility so nothing feels wasted. The bosses are no joke either. They hit hard and demand full focus, but they're not cheap. When you finally bring one down, it feels earned. And what makes it even better is how customizable it all is. You can break down and mix weapon parts, combining different blades and handles to create combos that fit your style. Each blade and handle also comes with its own fable art, which are special moves you can trigger in battle, so mixing parts doesn't just change stats, it gives you new ways to fight. Want a massive sword with the speed of a rapier and a flashy shockwave attack? You can build it. And then there's the Legion Arm, a mechanical tool that gives you extra tricks in combat. You can launch enemies, burn them, and block bullets. Lies of P may not have the budget of the big studios, but in terms of design, polish, and ambition, it punches way above its weight. Little Nightmares is one of those games that sticks with you long after the credits roll. It drops you into a dark, twisted world that feels like a nightmare brought to life. With environments that are equal parts disturbing and beautiful, every room tells a story without a single word being spoken, and that silence makes the tension hit even harder. The platforming is simple, but the atmosphere and visual storytelling carry the experience the whole way through. You play as a small, fragile child trying to escape a world built to crush you, and that constant sense of vulnerability turns even the smallest encounter into a moment of pure stress. One of the most clever mechanics is how the environment itself becomes a puzzle. You're not just moving through spaces, you're climbing shelves, dragging objects, and using shadows to hide. So it forces you to look at every room like a trap you need to outsmart, which keeps the tension high even during quiet moments. Also, the creature design is next level, with some of the most grotesque and unsettling enemies in any indie horror game. Each one feels distinct, like the long-armed janitor who blindly hunts by sound, or the twin chefs who chase you around a filthy kitchen, grunting and scrambling as they try to grab you. These encounters never feel repetitive because each enemy has its own behavior, patterns, and unique environment tied to their role. Little Nightmares doesn't rely on cheap jump scares, it builds dread slowly, and when it hits hard. For anyone who enjoys horror with a strong artistic direction and emotional weight, this is an essential experience to have in 2025. If you're still with me, the link to the playlist is popping up in the card right now. This video is part of a full series, and trust me, they're packed with even more amazing picks you'll definitely want on your radar. And hey, don't forget to support your buddy Sage by subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment on each video. It keeps the algorithm happy, and honestly, it's the digital equivalent of tossing me a high five.